Of course, I've worked on taxes for years. I want you to realize what we're working on is not the tax load in particular, in other words, what you're paying. We're trying to make the assessment process fair. So as far as shifting the amount you're paying, we aren't doing that. What we're trying to do is come up with a fair way to assess your properties. And the 150% rule was put in because of some high dollar sales in some areas were going to be affected greatly, so we put that in. It was a temporary stopgap. Originally it was put in for agriculture for that same reason, and it was a temporary stopgap. And every time we passed it, we said this was, other people will come in later and fix it. Well, we're the other people and we have to fix it.
The Education Task Force came forward with a list of findings, if you will, and one of the main ones was their concern over the 150% rule. I will say that I think that we're going to see some significant legislation attempted in the line of property tax reform. So I think we're going to address a number of issues with property tax, one being an attempt to change the way ag land is assessed in the state of South Dakota. An attempt to change the way ag land is assessed in the state of South Dakota, which is one of the main reasons that the 150% rule has stayed in place in the non-ag-Z rule, because of the detrimental effect that it would have on agriculture if it were to go away without some type of plan to change the way ag land is assessed.
I could, with a stroke of a pen, change something about the way we fund schools in South Dakota. I would just add 3 cents to the sales tax and correspondingly use that money to reduce real estate taxes. We could reduce real estate taxes across the board by 40 to 60%.
In South Dakota today, there's an exemption program for property taxes for paraplegic veterans, so they can be exempt from property tax in the state of South Dakota. That's on the books today. Currently, there is nothing on that we do to provide some sort of an exemption for veterans who have a service-connected, 100% service-connected disability. Today, we don't have anything to provide for them. What I'm going to propose, and we're getting good reaction from the Department of Revenue on this and from the administration, that we would propose to exempt the first $100,000 of property value, and then the taxes that are associated with that we capped at $1.5 million on those particular taxes. So that's another issue that we're working on.
I'm proposing a comprehensive BRAC-type commission to review the entire tax structure. We nibble around the corners way too much and trying to fix the system. We're at it again. The governor gave a reasonable approach given the limits. The Rapid City Journal yesterday, Sunday edition, pointed out he's gone as far as he can in education given the tax base. Well, basically we need a new pie, and we need a new configuration of that pie. And I don't think we're ever going to get it within the current bounds of the legislature and the governor. So I'm proposing a BRAC-type commission that we would buy into a process to review the entire state's values, and then to tie those values to benchmarks over the next 4, 8, and 16 years, the national and the regional experts, to say what is the best mix of taxation to get to this end. We've got to grow beyond where we are, despite the fact that education takes up 50% of our budget. We still have the lowest teachers' pay. I don't see any way out of this until we take a mega step. And it may not be very popular, may not even fly very far, but I'd like to challenge all of us to think outside the box, to think of a new future, to think of a future for my children and grandchildren and yours.